Hey guys, on today's show, we're talking about a topic that we think that may be of particular interest to many of you out there. It is not much interest to me, but it is going to be of interest to Kes. So, here, stay tuned. And if you hear a baby in the background, that's because we have a live audience here today.
See you guys in a minute. Hi everyone, this is Kes and Jamie in the middle with Kes and Jamie. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone's well. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kes?
I'm good. It looks like you're very nice and giggly. That's fantastic.
I am.
Ah, okay, good. What have you been up to? Anything good?
No, I didn't get my shot this week, but I'm going to get it next week now. So we thought I could get my first shot. So
I'm waiting for mine to happen too.
yeah. So
Fingers crossed soon.
Hopefully everybody's going to be. We all know about that, and we're all ready to get our shots and get back into normal life. So
And I think some states are doing it a little bit better and faster than others.
They
But
are.
look, eventually everyone will get it. I personally hope that it will be sooner rather than later.
That's right.
Just so that we can get on with it.
Yep.
Not that I'm the biggest fan of vaccines,
No,
period.
but I mean, let's just get this going. And speaking of getting it going, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell next time you can. And that way you'll know when our next episode is coming out, and you can see what we're talking about next time.
Yeah.
So this time, what are we going to go into first, Kes?
Oh, I think we're going to go into the world of technology.
Ooh.
So,
Beyond my game.
that's true. Not my biggest thing either. Well, actually, funny enough, we're going to talk about Twitter and the CEO, Jack Dorsey, and how he sold his first ever tweet, which he published in 2006, for 2.9 million.
Wow.
I know, right? That's
Yeah.
insane. It was electronically signed, autographed, but just the idea that this kind of thing can sell for 2.9. Good thing that what he's doing with it is he's donating money to a charity for a good cause. I think the charity is called Give Directly, which helps those in Africa who live in poverty. So, and that I take, and I think that's a great gesture.
Right.
Fantastic. And I mean, if people can pay 2.9 for something that's being done electronically somewhere online, I think that's amazing. I wouldn't do it, but for a good cause, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it is
I
for
just
a
don't
good
have
cause.
2.9 to
Well,
waste.
2.9 to
Well, not to
blow,
waste,
to blow on
to blow
a
on,
tweet.
yeah.
But the interesting, what I found the most interesting about it is not just the amount of money. That it was just 2006 when that Twitter started.
I know.
So
Yeah, it
because it's
doesn't
such an
seem long
important,
ago.
yeah, it's such a
And now we're all-
ubiquitous part of everyone's lives now. You would think that it was much longer, but it was just
Yeah, you'd be like,
2006.
what is this and this said on Twitter? So everybody goes and reads their mind, somebody else's mind on it.
Well, do you know, when I first moved to DC in 1994, so 28 years ago when I first moved here, there was no such thing as the internet, and we were still doing faxes. I mean, if you had a fax machine that was
Yeah, I love
that just
it.
printed on regular paper that didn't have that roll. Do you remember that roll, the thermal roll? You were in high cotton, as they say in the South. But since I've been here, I mean, in DC, they started the internet. I did all of my research in my master's thesis, doing research on the internet, and it was dial-up. Can you imagine doing all of your research on dial-up? So anyway, just pointing out how much things have changed in the last 25, 30 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
So this is just to get us started, because I thought that was insane.
no.
What do you have?
Well, there is a little interesting story I found about some cougars, 4 cougars, adult cougars, that were found on a video camera for a home, and it was up on somebody's porch in Utah. And it's kind of scary. So
Yeah.
well, you like open the door and you've got 4 cougars on your front step. But anyway, I think this is one of those things where urban sprawl and things are moving into their environments. And also they're seeing that there's food and so forth in these suburban areas.
I think the environment's suffering so much. They can't find enough food in their own wilderness.
Right.
And so they're going somewhere where it's easily.
Well,
accessible.
we are impinging on their environments,
Yeah.
quite honestly, and this is one of the things that you run into when humanity and the natural world collide. One of them's going to win, and it's usually going to be nature. So,
At some point. For sure. Mm-hmm.
But speaking of cougars, let's go into our main topic today.
Well, listen, I think that because it's spring, I thought, the sun's out, love is in the air, the birds are all tweeting away, flies even came out, and sort of I think life is starting to pick up again
People
after
are seeing a
winter.
light at the end of the tunnel. They're like, let's get out.
On many levels,
On
you know,
many
on
levels.
natural level, you know, as always will happen in the spring. But I think people are always also getting ready for spring and summer
mating
because
season.
it's mating season. So we wanted to discuss dating and what it is in our days. What does it mean to date? And especially with COVID and the pandemic, how did all of that happen? Did it happen? How did it continue? Obviously, people, I'm sure, wanted to be with somebody or at least meet somebody. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you how peculiar it was for me when I came over. Because when I arrived in 2014 in DC, I I was widowed, so somewhat
Right.
recently, and really wasn't thinking about dating much. And then as I settled in and we were settling in with my son, you know, my friends were starting to tell me, I guess, you know, you probably need to get out and just mingle, at least go on dates just to get to meet new people. And
Socialize.
so I had a busy schedule, didn't really have much time to go to bars and places to meet people. So I said, all right, fair enough. So they suggested,
But
you know,
interesting what you just said. I didn't have a lot of time to go to bars and all that other stuff. Old style.
old style,
Yeah.
exactly.
What we're used
you know,
to.
where you'd think you meet people, right? Well, you'd think, you know, somebody will come up to you, or even to a point where you go to somebody, because nowadays that has changed. You don't have to
Right.
wait for a guy to come and chat you up. You can actually go and say hi to him too. Not that I would do that too often, for many reasons, you know. When I was younger, I was a little shy. Maybe now I probably don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But to be honest, online, I was introduced to online dating,
Right.
which was scary, I have to tell you, and brain numbing as a second thing. I have no patience for this. I've signed up for what was a Match.com, and that was insanely boring.
Right.
Sitting there going through profiles, and then you start to realize, especially when you start to fill your profile in, how much people lie.
Oh,
You know,
totally.
and the amount of bullshit that goes on there on those profiles, and to go and skim through that to actually find something that might sound a little bit realistic.
A nugget of truth somewhere.
You know, that must
Are
be
you human? Are you?
almost the first question you want to ask. You know, on all of those matching online dating things, they have photos and pictures. Obviously, a lot of people,
Right.
just like, you know, women, men, all put the best picture. The funniest one is when they, for instance, a gentleman would say, you know, I'm 40, and then he's got a picture when he looks like he's 25.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, dude, that's great. I
Yeah.
mean, fantastic. But do you want to show me something recent? So I'm not dating the 25-year-old, do you?
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm going to go out and I'll probably be dating you as you are now. Women, I think, are the worst in this case because they all use, you know, Photoshop, filters, they all, and, you know, a guy comes into a bar and, you know, on a first date to meet this girl that he saw online, and then she comes out and she looks very different. And
like,
he's
Mom!
like, where is that model that I was supposed to meet, you know, and then it turns out to be somebody completely different.
Right. Which I don't understand, because I mean they're eventually going to figure that out. I mean, if you're intent on meeting somebody, I mean eventually they're going to see who you really are. So why the hell are you going to why false advertising from the very beginning? Because you're just setting yourself up for following your ass.
That's true, but at the same time, you do want to present yourself. So a lot of the times we buy products and the packaging is much nicer than what's inside.
Yeah, but
So-
it's got to be similar, at least some semblance of what's inside. You
Okay,
know?
they're saying it's
I mean-
chocolate when it was some kind of fake or a substitute. So, you know, someone
it's
there-
chocolate, it
hold
turns out to be a
on,
turd. I
I'm
mean, it's
saying
like,
I'm
well,
a
whatever.
woman. I
Like-
think that's the biggest truth that will come out of it. Whether I'm tall, short, slim, or fat. Really,
Hey, come on.
we're all going after the personality. It's really the inside that should count, Jamie.
Really? I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really the case on the gay apps, because I think on the gay apps, they're going after one thing. But in a lot of these apps, it's not just the gay apps, it's a lot of the younger generation are going after, that's how they're dating. That's how they're meeting people rather than going to bars. I think there was some figure I saw just recently that in about 10, 15 years ago, there were 70 something gay bars in New York City, in Manhattan. Now there's 7. I mean, yeah. So
Well, there's no point of going there.
there's no
anymore, right?
there's no point in going to them anymore. And this is pre-pandemic stuff. This has nothing to do with the pandemic. And so these young people, gay, straight, whatever. They're meeting potential partners or play buddies or whatever you want to call them. I mean, they have a lot of terms for all this stuff. We're not going to go into that today. But they don't learn how to socialize. Case in point, whenever I go to the gym, or when I went to the gym when I was younger, I'm talking about just in the last 10, 15, 20 years ago, younger. I'm 56. When I was
All right.
Anyway,
Wow.
so those years ago, you would time of when you were going to the gym according to if you were wanting to go socialize, you would go and socialize because everybody was talking. You'd have so much time that you spent talking versus working out, and so you might go to the gym at a time when there weren't so many people there, so you weren't socializing. When I go to the gym now, all these kids, and I call them kids because they're all 12, but you go to they're not really 12, they're in the 20s, but anyway, but you go to the gym, they've all got their earbuds in, every single damn one of them, and not a single damn one of them are talking to each other. And I don't think they know how to talk to each other.
Well, they're not communicating each other.
Well, but then they're all on their phones while they're working out.
So the whole dating process, I think, got to a point where there are acronyms for all sorts of things. Emojis mean things. The texting is a completely different storyline, game completely too. Because I know for a fact that I've been through some of those dates. I've met somebody on one of those dates. I've actually dated someone for 3, 4, 5, I think it was five, almost 5 months. Mm-hmm. But, and I have to tell you that at the beginning, I almost had to learn a new language. There were so many things as he was writing to me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what the hell does that mean? I had to Google things up because I didn't know. He was a little younger than me, but it was to a point where what the hell? There's
especially
a different
the
language.
acronyms. The
And so
acronyms.
people no longer need, or a lot of, and from what I've read in the, the PEW Research Center, they've done a huge study on dating, online dating. They've done it across ages. They used
genders,
orientations, all sorts of things.
Races,
very interesting research. And we'll give a link to that research as well. But it's insane the number of people that date and go through and use dating online. Anything from 18 to 29 has grown extremely, and they're very comfortable with that. Obviously, the older the generation, the older you are, the harder it is for you to use that. And again, if we're talking about budding up or relationship, it's a very different thing. There are apps and dating sites for just hookups. The dating sites by age, by gender, by interest.
By religion.
What is it? There was a farmers dating app.
Farmers only or something like that.
Jewish dating app.
Silver daddies, which is young guys looking for older men. I mean, it's whatever the combo that you can think of out there, they have one, believe it or not. And so it's a little bit, but you're losing a lot of that. People they're isolating themselves more.
Our clock again, yay! So we love, as you all know.
So the thing about about all these things is it's isolating people more and more.
Which I also thought, but it's fine, and it's true. I have a friend, and he's a gay guy, younger than me, and probably in early, late 20s, maybe early 30s. Now, barely goes and meets people outside. Everything's online. Everything's very quick. They just decide to meet up, and then they decide whether it's just for health reasons or if you wish or interest or
I need to hook up for health reasons.
Well, just to get some stress relief or whatever it is. Or they want to go into a relationship. And and it's funny and interesting that
it's kind of like what site you're on. It should determine if
very true.
People are there for.
Yeah.
Some people are there for just the hookup. Some people are going to be there for a date. But you need to go the dating types versus.
I was on Tinder, well aware of what it is and how it operates, even though I know a lot of
Never
people
been on
have
it.
been actually got married by meeting on Tinder. But I was on Tinder for a day and a half, or maybe less than, almost 24 hours a day.
Lasted a while.
And yes, so I get like text and people sort of interested in meeting me. And then there's this gentleman who texts me. We've started texting, talking a little bit, and I don't know, like 5 exchanges back and forth. Find out that he's a professor in one of the local universities. Interesting. And then the next morning he texts me, okay, well, I'm ready to come over. Is noon or 1 a good time? I'll bring some Prosecco and stuff. And I was shocked. I didn't expect the speed. I understood what the whole point of the dating app was there for. That it was totally just to hook up, but it was just so fast for me, and there was no foreplay, if you wish. I was like, no, mate, hold on, my child's here, my nanny's here.
I've got responsibilities. I'm an adult.
How do you expect me here for this to happen? So that was insane.
Can I say one thing? I wonder if that, because he was or is a college professor, allegedly, the fact that he is possibly hooking up with maybe collegiate students, or that age range, and so maybe he's a little bit more, fast on the draw because of his experience with them, or maybe he just doesn't know how it works.
I don't know.
Or were you just confused when he said, "I'm gonna bring over Prosecco"? I'm like, what?
Yeah, but don't you know what I drink?
So Otto is like, I'm gonna bring over a 6-pack of beer, a bottle of wine. I'm gonna bring you a bottle of Prosecco. I'm like, well, that's probably a reason why to cut him right there. And so
there's another. So there are many apps, but there are also paid services and matchmaking paid services. And I actually used Is Just Lunch. I don't know if it's not an ad, just a matter of fact that I did use it.
How did that work for you?
Oh my God. I have to tell you, that was the funniest thing. Well, it didn't go well. I did not go out with any of the 6 guys that I was set up
with. You didn't even meet them up for lunch? You didn't
No, I
meet them?
did.
Oh,
I met them all. And I have to tell you, the guys were all great. They were just really not for me. And it's to a point where I was in hysterics, calling my girlfriends and saying, oh, dude, man, you have to absolutely give me 5 minutes. I need to tell you. I have been set up with Mr. Bean. Nothing wrong with Mr. Bean, but just not my kind of guy. Or there's a ballroom dancer. And so after 2 of not very good matchmaker dates, I called the matchmaking company and the matchmaker that was working on my profile, and I said, I'm sorry, but have you actually listened to anything that I've said to you? Have you, not gotten any feel from me of what kind of person I am to match me up with those gentlemen? It's just insane.
She goes, yes, of course I have.
No, she didn't. She said, oh, no, can you please come in? She
that's
said.
What they lied. No, but I'm like, that's what it's like. No, Cass, this is what you think you are. This is how I perceive you as.
I know, and it was so crazy. Then I've had a date with 2 different guys from It's Just Lunch, and 2 of them told me about a date that they had with apparently the same woman that had to take her teeth out while she was having dinner with them. Not that it's bad or anything. Well, what am I saying? It is absolutely crazy. I mean, honestly, can't you wait till your teeth are fixed? Or don't eat, just
don't eat. Don't eat. Just drink.
And the 2 of them were like, because I think the question was, what was your weirdest date? And they said, well, both of them said,
it could be a plus. Is what you're
I don't know, but it was hilarious. I was in tears, and especially when on the second date, when I hear the story again, I had to tell the guy, and I said, I've met another gentleman who.
Oh my God! I know her. She's a freak. She's like a work.
And so, yeah, there you go. My experience. It was hilarious. But I know that for a lot of women, at least, I can only speak for women, that it is very tedious to go through the profiles. And I've had a few of my girlfriends tell me that, Cass, if you really want to find somebody, you have to look at it as a job. It has to be your, full-time job where you go through, search, ask questions, spend time on talking to them to find out, which I do not have time or energy to do.
Whoa. But
what, you want to talk now?
No, yeah. Let me talk about it. Let the guy talk. Anyway, no. So
please do.
No, seriously, that brings up an interesting point. oh my God, I just lost it.
No way. All right.
No.
But I'm going to continue and tell you that this is most hilarious because Jamie never usually loses his points and always goes through
Well, you
it.
distracted me.
Yes.
Okay, but Cass, I want to ask you a question. I mean, you said that you don't have time to go through, do the job and go into the apps and all the profiles.
tedious.
It is tedious, I get it. But I mean, but if you didn't have the apps, you didn't have the profiles, you didn't have all that stuff like we used to not have, well, how are you going to find somebody anyway? So, I mean, so it is a job. I mean, it is work. Luckily, I don't have to do that work anymore, and I've been, a partner for a long time. But
Which is great, it's fantastic.
It's great, because I don't have to deal with all that crap. I mean, so it's so I listen.
So yeah, you
so
just listen to my crap all
go,
the time about this, and it's hilarious.
Gee, it's too much trouble. Anyway.
To be honest, if anything, the best thing the way I look at it now is just when I go on those kind of dates and I'm being set up, it's really all about just having a good time or a funny story. So every single time I come out of a date, my sister calls me and goes, all right, you need to tell me what was wrong with this one, what was fun, what did you do, what did he say? And so it's an event.
Find me a freak.
I look at it as an event. So I think that's the only way to look at it, really.
That's the way you should. There should be an app called "Find Me a Freak." Find me a freak. Find me a freak. So, but anyway, talking about us and being we're not that old, but we are older than some of these kids that are out there using things today. But in these apps, but I mean, a lot of older people are having trouble with dating and so forth, and kind of in this environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think that for people that haven't really been in that. Listen, what happened to elderly or generation of people and single? Well, they used to go to clubs, right? They used to go to golf, and that's still available, obviously. But like chess clubs, I don't know, dancing clubs, and things like that.
Right.
By the way, if you hear a baby, don't go crazy. We're just testing just to make sure if you can. Can you?
Can you hear?
Yeah,
Can you hear it now?
We can.
Can you hear it now?
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad.
Okay.
We've got a baby as an audience, so we're having a joyful.
It's the only
time.
audience we could get. Anyway, whatever. So
just bear with us,
But speaking about older people, there are things, and we don't need to get into this right now. But one of the things that I found very fascinating when you hear about this and read about this in retirement homes and facilities and so forth, that it's like Katie bar the door. I mean, it's like it's just like carnal knowledge everywhere, and but there's a lot of STDs and HIV and everything else going through these things. I mean, we not dead yet. Let me put it that way.
But
we may be old, but not dead yet.
Also, I think the apps for them are getting a little bit more adapted.
Yeah.
There's still places where they meet, whether it's like special walks that they do, outside, and it's lovely, and I think it's fantastic. And I think that when I do get a little bit more time, I might join one. I don't know. I'm only kidding. I don't know. I don't do walking.
Well, anyway, it is a fascinating thing that's going to be evolving for quite some time. But I think that one thing we do know, and I will say this, I will bet $1,000 on this one. Whenever this pandemic thing is over with, is Katie bar the door. I mean, it's going to be.
Do you really think so? I'm not
it's going to
sure.
be. It's going to be throw down city, man. I mean, I don't care what people are going to be
the
going.
way people
nuts.
are, the way that people
I think
are
they're
looking
trying
at
to go
restaurants
nuts.
and going to restaurants and pubs, especially the younger generation. I think that's really definitely will be happening.
But I think people are going nuts right now.
Yeah, they are. But anywho, guys, if you know of any new ways, options, apps, how people can meet these days, please let us know. I'm especially very interested, so please send something.
And I might be. I don't know. You never do know.
This could be just for research for James.
Just research
For another show or something. Okay, so anything interesting? I think we've done a great job. I think this is a fantastic thing. I think this is you can definitely go deeper into it.
Yeah.
But just to sort of breeze through it quickly and raise that subject and topic.
I don't think I want to go too deep into it.
No, I agree.
I don't need too much.
Many.
A focused look at this too
Though
much.
there are a lot of I think funny and comical stories about dating and how people go on first dates and
usually hard story. We should make an entire movie about that. I mean, that's something we could work on. We could put together.
I think there's a
Tess in the middle.
called
Tess in the middle
One.
of all of it. I mean, like,
Oh God, no.
no, Tess, we always talk about Tess in the middle. Tess and Jamie in the middle, late night. Anyway, so.
Ooh, yeah.
So
that could be fun.
Speaking of old things.
Ooh, Oh, thanks.
As
He's
a
only talking
segue,
about
our
himself,
last
obviously,
thing.
not me.
No. Speaking of old things, there was a 15th century Chinese bowl that was found in a yard sale, bought for $35 at a yard sale that just recently sold in a Sotheby's auction for $721,800.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, and so you never do know what you're going to find at this. But it turns out this is this rare porcelain lotus bowl, is what it's called, or something like that. And so you go to these yard sales, you never do know what you're going to find and
Yeah,
sell.
just
So
like on a dating app. You might have to go, search, look, and give somebody a chance, and you might just win yourself a Chinese bowl for $721,000.
But that cheap old bowl that you just bought, that cheap old
Might be the
bowl
one.
that you're looking at,
Yeah.
might be worth a lot of money.
There
So
you go.
anyway, with that,
Subscribe, like, bell. What else we need to say? I guess almost goodbye.
hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed it, guys. Good to see you, and we will see you next week. Happy spring.
Hey, and possibly Easter.
Oh, and Easter.
I don't know. Yeah,
Easter, Passover.
Easter.
Easter,
For anyone
Passover.
who's celebrating.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.